Hello and welcome to episode 61 of the Little Drops of Wonderful podcast. This is my channel to talk about all things crochet and knitting and craft related, all of the good stuff and more besides. My name is Ellie. I live in the very southeast of the UK in Kent with my husband and our two daughters. We are currently all still in lockdown here in the UK, so both of our girls are at home. They're 14 and 9 and they're both being homeschooled at the moment while they're unable to go to school. And it looks now like they won't be back until September, but more on that later. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Starry Eyes Ellie, and I also do daily vlog series every now and then, and the last one was quite a long one. I did a series of lockdown vlogs which I will link in a playlist underneath. It's also on a playlist on this channel, and I've been taking a small break from that. It was supposed to be a week. It's now been about a week and a half. It's a bit longer than I planned actually, but we'll get on to that later. But let's just say I've had no time or inclination to do it. I didn't realise how much time it was taking up until I stopped doing it, if I'm very honest. So I'm still not quite caught up on everything that I needed to be, but I'm starting to talk about it when I said I'd talk about it later. So let's move on. I've lost my mojo a bit with the old knitting and crochet. So it's probably going to be quite short today because I've only got a very few things to share with you. I'm also going to be announcing some giveaway winners. So we're going to talk about one very, very tiny finished object. I do have something. I was determined to have something to show you that was finished. So I've got one, but it's small. A few whips. I think I've got 3 whips to show you. I'm going to announce the winner of the Hygge collection pattern collection, said collection twice, the winner of the Dodgy Bag MAL FO thread, and then I'm just going to do some general life stuff and the usual rambling. And if I forget, please remind me that I have to tell you about my dream about the moose. So I have written it down, but if I do forget, do remind me in comments and I'll bring it out next time. So I hope you're all safe and well. We've been watching the news here and it has been grim, hasn't it? It really has been. I mean, we know as a Yarny community, we know that racism is an awful truth in our world. We've been learning about this for over a year, I think is the fact, isn't it? And I think we just need to keep trying. We need to not slip into complacency. We need to keep trying, to keep listening, keep educating ourselves, keep talking about this with our friends and our family and our children, and bringing the stuff that we learn online into our actual real lives, because as much as sitting in front of a camera talking about knitting is enjoyable, this is not. This is a very tiny part of my actual real life. It's about bringing it into my real life. I've been listening to a really good podcast with Phoebe. It's actually, it's called The Week Junior. It's on Apple Podcasts, but it's on all the other places you get podcasts as well. It's a print publication as well, I think. And I'm pretty sure a podcast viewer told me about it. And I still need to try and sign up because they do like a free, introductory free offer for the print publication. It's a UK podcast and publication, and they basically round up the week's news in a way that makes it understandable for the age bracket is 8 to 14 years. So I've been listening to that with Phoebe, and they covered this week the stories of everything that's happening in America, and all the protests around in America and in the UK, and the importance of protest. And yeah, it was really, really good. And it really did, because obviously we talked to Phoebe about what happens in the news, and it had, you know, raised some concerns about her, and she was worrying for her friends, and it really, really did help her to understand what was going on. So if you have kids and you're talking to them about racism and anti-racism and the stuff that's going on in the world, I would really recommend that as a really good place to start. And I'd just say generally, get on Google and do some reading. I spend a lot of time Googling stuff if I don't understand certain terms or expressions. Google that Charities UK or US or wherever it is you live, find out about the work that charities are doing in your own communities. Off the top of my head, which is never a good thing, is it? Because my memory is terrible. But one I know through work, Black Minds UK, no, Black Minds Matter UK, Show Racism the Red Card. That's a big charity that works with very high profile footballers. But if there's hundreds of charities where you can learn a bit more about the work that's going on in your own communities, and if you want to donate, if you can afford to. I'm rambling now, but hopefully you get my meaning and you get my drift. Yeah, the world is a very... I think it can be overwhelming, can't it, when it feels like you're just looking at all that's wrong with the world. Yeah, I just sending a big hug out to all of you. And now I'm going to move on to talk about knitting and crochet, which seems slightly frivolous, but then frivolity also plays its part in the world, doesn't it? So I would say that I'm going to take a gulp of tea and move on, but stupidly I didn't bring any tea upstairs with me. I wonder if I could ask Dan to bring me up a cup of tea. Right, everyone, I'm going to ask Alexa to make an announcement. So if you've got an Alexa, I do apologise. I might just pause it for a minute whilst I ask him. Dan, can you bring me up a cup of tea? Right, I've just asked Alexa to make an announcement and ask him to bring me up a cup of tea, and it's really cheeky because I'm podcasting on a Wednesday and it's about 10 to 11 in the morning. I would normally be homeschooling and getting ready to start work for the day. Dan's furloughed at the moment from his job until the end of the month, so he has taken over downstairs and he's doing all the homeschooling so that I could... Sorry about that, that was a reply from Phoebe from downstairs, but I couldn't understand a word she was saying. Yeah, so he's taken over downstairs and I'm now like barking orders from upstairs asking for cups of tea. I'm not sure how well that's going to go. Okay, so I promised you a finished object, and a finished object I have. I'm going to have this problem again where, because I'm sitting up in my bedroom, because I've started filming podcasts in my bedroom, I've got my notes on my lap and everything around me, so I'm going to have to keep disappearing to pick things up and find things from the rubble of yarny stuff around me. Right, prepare to be underwhelmed by the size of my finished object. Now, when I was doing my vlogs, I found this almost completed. It literally just needed eyes putting on it, and I've gone for a little spotty button on one side, but I didn't have two, so on the other side it's just a plain black button. But given that you're only ever going to see one side of it, it doesn't really matter, does it? So this is an Attic 24 pattern. It's free on the Attic 24 blog. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Little Birdies. You basically crochet a circle and a beak and these cute... I can't remember if these are part of the pattern or not, the feet, or if I just decided to do that. But just in case, I just crocheted a circle and then did a chain. So I sewed it together and stuffed it. Really pleased with it. These are such happy, funny little things. I have quite a few of these that I've made over the years and sort of hang on doorknobs and cupboards and things. They're just so funny. I love the feet. So that is my one and only finished object. So let's hang this little guy, spotty eye, up in the background there against the other little birdie. And I'm afraid that's it for finished objects. As I said at the beginning, I have very much lost my mojo. I don't know what happened. I was doing quite well, and I don't know, it just went. I think it's just the relentlessness of my days and the groundhogness of my days mean that I don't know, I just deflated really, and not wanting to pick anything up. So I brought up the 3 projects that have been bringing me the most pleasure, although I haven't necessarily been working on 2 of them. So I'm going to go through them in the order of which I've been working on the most, starting with the one I've been working on most. So the first one is living in my Caroline Love to Sew bag. This looks very full because I've also got balanced in here my yarn bowl. Hang on, my tea delivery is arriving. Do you want to say hello to the lovely viewers at home? Look, we're matching.
Hello, lovely viewers.
We're both wearing green.
Yes.
Oh. I've got my tea now. You may now. That is all. What you can't see is he's doing the Banshee walk from RuPaul's Drag Race out of the room. He's walking backwards.
Banshee. Benji.
Such an idiot. Right, where was I after that distraction? Oh yes, so by the way as well, in my vlogs last month I dyed my hair, well basically sort of blue-black. It means that where it's growing through now, because it's much darker than it used to be, the grey really shines. But I don't want to dye it this colour again. I want to go back to kind of a lighter brown colour, so I'm just going to have to suffer for a little while. There is mohair in here because I am working on this project, which is my favourite project at the moment. It is, hang on, let me show you the pattern first. I know that if you are not new to this channel, you know already what this pattern is because I've been talking about it for ages, because I am the slowest garment maker in the world, and in fact I have never completed a knitted garment. This is the first one. And I'm just so slow at it. It is the As If Tea 2.0. As If Tea 2.0. It is by Shay Johnson. She is Knit and Crochet on Instagram and pretty much everywhere, I think. This is the top that she is wearing. It is a combination of Aran weight yarn and mohair. So you get this really good kind of sheer panel. And I just love that. It is designed to be cropped, but I'm intending to make it longer than that. So I've started with a provisional cast on. And then at the end, when I know how much of my Aran weight yarn I've got left, I'm going to pick up and just keep knitting until I'm happy with the length. Dan thinks I should actually keep it cropped so I can wear it over a vest. I might do that, but yeah, I'm playing about with it. But I think the fact that I'm not following a set of formula and I might change this or I might change that makes me a bit like, oh, lack of control does not compute. I'm using for it this gorgeous yarn. It's Treskilion yarn. Trying to find the thing. Emrys worsted, which is a blue-faced Leicester Aran weight yarn, and the colourway is penumbral. I said that a bit weird, didn't I? Penumbral. So I've got 2 skeins of this, and I've got this left and this left. So, you know, a fair amount, and I'm on the sleeves and the lacy panel. So I'm going to have a fair amount left to add to the length, which is good. I have done the entire, so you can knit this in a few different ways. It's a very flexible pattern. There are many, many sizes. Sorry, I'm flitting, aren't I? I'm really sorry. I've lost my filming mojo a bit as well, like with, did I say that at the beginning? Like I picked up the camera a few times to try and make a vlog, and it's just not sitting with me for some reason. And I think I've really wanted to film a podcast and properly talk to you, and until I've done that I feel like I won't be able to film a vlog. But then today I really had to force myself to get all set up and everything because I still wasn't really feeling that either. I don't know what I'm saying. This has got 9 sizes. I am making size 3. I had all kinds of problems with gauge. I think I'm on top of it now, but because of my gauge, I am making a size bigger than I would have normally. So I'm making size 3, but it goes all the way up to a 64-inch bust. So it's a really good size inclusive pattern. You can also knit it flat or you can knit it in the round. And throughout the pattern she gives little tips, you know, like for example the bit where I've just finished, which is the front panel. I'll actually show you the project, shall I? Right, excuse the waste yarn that's bright yellow at the top there. Oh, doesn't it look nice? So, oh, I didn't tell you what the mohair is. I'll tell you in a minute. So I've finished the bust shaping. I've got a few little adjusty bits to do just to make these stitches sit a bit nicer in places. I did have to modify it slightly because with my gauge being slightly off, my row gauge was also slightly off. So I had to modify it slightly, which I did successfully and felt very smug about that for many, many days. So it's going to sit about here. I mean, I kept testing it and I think I've done it the height I want it, but it's on waste yarn. And I have had to sort of undo my cast off a couple of times because I've made a mistake on the bits that you had to cast off. So I could always add a bit of bit more rows here if I needed to. But she does sort of give you tips on, you know, when you're knitting this bit, if you want to adjust where these panels sit on your bust, you know, what you can do here and so on, which for someone who's a real novice is really, really good. I'm kind of looking at that now, thinking that maybe it might need some extra rows here, but I don't know how it's going to block out. Will I ever be a garment knitter? I think I just spend too much time questioning things instead of getting on with it. Yeah, so I've done the front, and now what you then do is you go back and pick up stitches for the back. So you effectively, you're knitting flat for these bits. So I've picked up at the back, and now I'm going to knit just in the mohair until it matches the height of the front panel, and then the next stage will be to seam it together, do the neck and the arms, and then add any length. So I'm probably averaging about 3 rows a night, but not every night, because like I say, by the time I sit down and think, oh, I'll just do a few rows on my as if tee, my brain power just leaves me, and I've had a few other things that are distracting me, which I'll talk about later as well. But I'm loving it, honestly, absolutely loving it. I can't wait to finish it and wear it. I think it's going to be really, really beautiful. I love the colours. I was really worried about the contrast between the mohair and the Aran, but I'm really, really pleased with it. I just wish that I was a better knitter. And I wish I had more brain power, but I don't. The mohair, by the way, is... Where's the thing? You see, I pulled it out a minute ago when I was looking for the other label, and now I can't find it. No, it's not that one. Here it is. It is Banshee yarns. There we go. And it is in the colour Nightmare. I love that. And it is 72% kid mohair and 28% silk. It's lovely to knit with. And like I say, I have made mistakes and had to unpick. I even cast off some stitches and had to unpick those, and I haven't had too much of a problem doing it, which is amazing considering it's mohair. So that's my whip number 1. Right, whip number 2. Still going in order of the things I've most recently worked on. So I think the last time I worked on this was probably just over a week ago. It's living in this lovely bag that was handmade for me by Lynn. Just see if I can find the thing. It's a little tag that was in it. I don't think she sells these anywhere. I keep these little tags and notes and things inside the bag if it was a gift. It's got cactuses on it. It's very cheerful, and it's got a lot of yellow, which I absolutely love. And in it is my Waru shawl, which looks like this. Ooh, just throw my crochet hook on the ground. It looks like this. I have already made the Waru shawl. If you are new and have not been around for a while, I already made this, and I wore it so much in the winter just gone that I decided to make another one. This is how it looks. It's a pattern by Deanne Ramsey, who is Adiday Designs. Isn't that lovely? I love the colours she's used in that one. And I am currently on colour 3. And I'm loving how it's looking so far. These are completely different colours to the ones that I used in my first one, so that's really good. So I've got the blue here, which is Mrs. S Creations in the colourway Seascape. And then this, the next one that stripes into the cream with speckles is called Dragonfly in Amber. I believe it's an Outlander inspired colourway by Bumblebee Acres Farm. And then that goes into this gorgeous yellow colour, and that is called Char Char Charming by Betsy Makes, and that's a bit sparkly, that one. I will need a 4th colour, so I completely forgot that when I was choosing my colours. You can make this in 3 colours, but and then the larger option is to make it with 4 colours, which I'm going to do. So once I've completed this section and it's time to add colour 4, I will go stash diving and decide where I want to go next. But it's lovely. I'm absolutely loving it. It works up surprisingly quickly, and you get a very, very large shawl at the end, and it's a very wearable one, very scarf-like. So I'm really, really pleased with this. The good thing about this pattern is there are really complicated bits, the lace sections where you have to really think. But then in between those, some rows you can do like 4 rows where you're just backwards and forwards without having to think about anything, which is perfect. And looking at it now, I'm like, oh, I quite want to work on it. So I might maybe try and put a few lines on this tonight. Yeah, so, you know, I'm making it for a second time, so I guess I recommend the pattern. And not much else to say about it because I haven't worked on it in over a week. Oh, let's have a little sip of this tea. I think I've earned it. I haven't really. All I've done is faff about and put makeup on for the first time in about 2 months and pick up a load of projects from downstairs. I haven't done anything useful. I've got to start working at some stage. I usually work 2 days a week for a museum, and I'm obviously working at home at the moment. And we've no idea when the museum's going to reopen. We just no idea what's going to happen with stuff like that. The museum's on a hospital site as well, which complicates things further. And so I can't work 2 full days a week, obviously, because I have to homeschool the kids as well and keep them in the house and so on and so forth. So I'm splitting my hours across the entire week. So I work 3 hours a day now, which is fine. I'm kind of getting into a rhythm with it, but it does mean there is never a day off. There is never a day off from anything. Whinge, whinge, complain, I know. It's not really a big problem, is it? But right, let's distract ourselves with more yarny things. This is a bag that I made in my drawstring bag tutorial. I love this bag so much. I just love it. It just makes me so happy. So I did a drawstring bag tutorial to go with the Dodgy Bag MAL, which is in its 3rd year running, or was in its 3rd year running. It's finished now. And I run it with Claudia, lovely Claudia, who is Crochet Luna. It was her brainchild 3 years ago, and I'm just so glad she came up with it because it honestly, it's grown and grown over the 3 years. And I will talk about it a bit more in a bit, and it's just joyous to see people dusting off sewing skills or sewing machines and just really enjoying making bags. I am not an experienced sewer by any means at all. I've never learnt properly, but I do really love it. When I get the time to do it, I love knowing that I've made something myself. I just get a real kick out of it. So anyway, that's a tangent. I love this bag is what I'm trying to say. And in it, I love the project. So this is a really strange noise. It sounds like a giant wasp. But I think it's someone with a strimmer strimming the hedges of the social club opposite. That's much more likely than it being a giant moth, isn't it? This is not a very good printout of this. It's a free pattern. It's it's called Wild Wheat. And it's by Mijo Crochet, who is Joanna Lindahl. I was looking just for a free pattern, basically, that was very easy, very repetitive and meditative. And it was because I got sent by my lovely, lovely friend, Jodie, sent me a set of minis from my other lovely friend, Becky, who is back to Blighty. And I wanted to use it straight away. And this is the pattern I chose to use with those gorgeous minis. The mini set was called Just Breathe as well, which I thought was really, really good. So my initial thought was to just use the, I think it was 5 colours, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there were 5 colours in the set, which was this speckled colour here, the grey, the purple, this bluey colour, and then there's a pink as well, which is this one. So that was the initial plan, and the girls have just been choosing which colour I add as I go along. I have made a mistake, but you wouldn't notice, so don't tell anyone. You didn't hear it from me. But as you can see, I have not gone into pink. I have started adding a different mini. Do I know what the mini is, or is it just random? I don't know if I know what the mini is. I think it might just be a random one. Oh no, hang on. No, I do know what it is. It's by Richard de Vries, and this was also a gift, and it's called Splash. Trying not to get my nails in because my nails always look bad because I bite them, and I need to stop. And that's the little thing. It's on his Pepino base, it says. So that's the next mini that's going in, and that is because when I went and looked at all the Ravelry projects for this pattern, so I'm just getting my tea, some people have made them gigantic. Some people have made them gigantic in gradient yarn, which looks amazing. But yeah, a lot of people have made them really, really big, and I was only initially going to make it small just to use those minis, but oh, I really like how they look when they're big. I can just imagine being sat in the garden on a chilly summer night. Not that summer nights are ever chilly, we're never that lucky, are we? They're always baking hot and miserable. But you know what I mean. When the weather starts to turn a little cooler, you're in the garden of a morning maybe with a cup of tea, and a nice big airy short. I really liked the idea of that, and I thought, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep adding minis as I see fit. I'm just going to pick one from my vast array of minis. Every time I finish one, I'll go and pick another one. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be a bit of a mishmash. I don't know how it's going to look in the end, but I'm going to try and keep it so that the colours are quite matching. I'm just talking to you now, not even showing you it. Like mouthful of tea. Yeah, so I want to keep it so that the colours are kind of, you know, they go well together. But I want it to be really, really lovely and big. Because as you can see at the moment, it's okay, but I just want it to be able, you know, go all the way around. And yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this palette of kind of, because in here it's grey, purple, pink and blue. So grey, purple, pink and blue. I think I'm going to stick with that kind of palette for it. Yeah, so I'm really excited about it. It's a really lovely mindless crochet. So again, now I've got that out, I'm like, ooh, I want to do that again. But I think because I've put it down for a while, I'll have to get back into the pattern of it, you know, because I'd finally got my head around, okay, on these type of rows I do this, on these type of rows I do this, you know, not having to think about it. So I'll have to re-educate myself on how to do it. And that concludes the whips. I do have more, but I haven't been working on them at all. I have no inclination to cast anything new on at all. I haven't got any socks on the go, which feels weird. I am starting to get that inkling of, oh, I would quite like to have some just plain socks. I've got another project that I know is on the horizon, which I won't mention yet. I haven't checked yet if I can, which makes it sound suspicious and exciting. So let's just leave it there, because suspicious and exciting is good. Yeah, but that's it for whips for now, and I just hope that I get my mojo back a bit. Let me check my notes to check I haven't forgotten anything. One of the things that's been keeping me from picking up my projects, my yarny projects, is that I've been drawing. So I mentioned, when I was doing the vlogs, I mentioned that I was interested in taking part in the Index Card a Day challenge. It's an online, mainly Instagram challenge run by Daisy Yellow Art. Every year in June and July, it's called the Index Card a Day challenge. And basically you get plain old index cards and you just create something on it in any way you want, whether it's mixed media, drawing, painting, sticking, anything you like. And you do it every day for those 2 months. So I thought, oh, I'll do that. And I've been getting really interested in the idea of urban sketching as a way of kind of rediscovering drawing and art, because it's a very kind of relaxed and non-judgmental way of creating artwork. And I've been watching a few podcasts about that and vlogs and following a few people on Instagram. And yeah, it's been something that's just been distracting me. So when I sort of sit down of an evening, I usually haven't had time to draw anything in the day. So I might have an index card on my lap and I'll be drawing stuff around me as part of that. And I've just been really enjoying it. It's just been a really lovely, new, creative outlet for me. Which I've been really enjoying. So I think that's partly to do with it. I think it's just, I've been distracted, which, as you know, is fairly easy for me to be. So how have you all been? Have you all had your knitting and crochet mojo during these times? I think at this stage in the game of lockdown, we are definitely getting lockdown fatigue. My main thing is I worry so much for the girls. I just want them to have their lives back, you know. I want them to be back with their friends, and I want them to be back with their peers at school, and I want them to be back in settings where they can, well, especially Phoebe, where she can play, be a child, run around. It's very difficult for her. I'm so proud of how they're both handling it. Lily has had a couple of socially distant meetups with friends, which was really good. She went to the village common the other day and met up with 5 of her friends, and they all sat 2 metres apart, and Dan actually parked the car up. He was quite some way away, but he could see them, because I was fearful. I trusted all of them completely, but I was fearful that an adult would give them trouble, you know, for doing that. So he sat and parked quite a way away, so that if anyone had approached them, he would have stepped in to say, look, they're observing the rules. So that was really good, and she was really energised afterwards. But Phoebe, it's not so easy. She's so much younger, and yeah. Anyway, what am I on about? Shall we move on to giveaway winners? Okay, so we had one giveaway running since the last episode, and also we've had the Dodgy Bag Mail going as well. So I'm going to start with the Dodgy Bag Mail. So as I already mentioned, I ran this with Claudia, and Claudia had the chatter of Crochet Luna. Claudia had the chatter thread in her Ravelry group, and I had the finished objects thread in my group, my Ravelry group. So she's going to be drawing a winner from the chatter thread. I'm going to be drawing a winner from the FO thread. I'm also going to draw a winner from the Instagram hashtag as well, because there were just so many lovely images popping up on Instagram of people who've been making bags. I've tried to keep up on top of that hashtag. I think I'm still slightly behind, but I have been in and tried to like every single one. So thank you so much for joining in. And yeah, now we get to do the fun bit, which is draw a couple of winners. And I just want to say as well that thank you so much, Claudia. I know I've already gone on about this previously, but the fact that you came up with this, and she did a brilliant pin as well that she designed herself. She's a brilliant designer of but not enamel pins, but you know, like button badges. And she did one especially for this mail, which was just fantastic. So thank you so much, Claudia. And yeah, same time again next year, maybe. Dodgy Bag Mail 2021, just hashtag just saying, as my kids say. I promise never to say that again. Honestly, I'm embarrassing myself. So, FO winner, I closed the thread. I actually gave it an extra 7 days. The mail ended on the 1st of June, and I didn't close the thread until around the 7th or 8th of June to give people time to get their entries in. And I closed it then, and this morning I went in and drew a winner. I used our friend Alexa to help me do it. We had 359 Dodgy Bag Mail entries, which is astounding, incredible. If you're looking for inspiration, go and have a look at that FO thread. There are so many amazing bags in there. Not one of them could possibly be described as dodgy. So obviously the first post was mine. So it's between 2 and 360. I asked our friend to choose a random number. She chose number 230. The username is Bejbiker. It's on the screen now. You have no name or details on Ravelry. You are a mystery Ravelry user. I don't know who you are or where you are. Very mysterious. But whoever it is made a drawstring bag using my tutorial. I have linked the tutorial underneath this video if you want to go and give it a go. I've now done 2 tutorials, which I was so nervous about doing, because as I've said, I do not consider myself to be a sewer, so I just went through step by step how I do it, and people have been using the tutorials and successfully making bags, which honestly gives me the biggest thrill ever. I just cannot believe it. So it was amazing. She used my tutorial, and then she made 2 bags, and the other one she improvised herself. So congratulations, whoever you are. If you could get in touch with me on Ravelry, you can send me a Ravelry message, and or you can email me at littledropsofwonderful@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram. But honestly, the amount of time that I'm on Instagram these days, because I do the social media for the museum where I work, I am mainly logged on to that account, and I only go onto my own Instagram maybe once every 2 days, and I'm not very active on there anyway, but I'm terrible. I have messages waiting for me on Instagram, Ravelry and my email, and I'm really sorry. I'm still trying to get back to everybody. I am doing it slowly, so if you're waiting to hear back from me, I'm really, really sorry. Anyway, that's all to say. Drop me a line. I'll be waiting for your message. Let me know where you are in the world. Give me your address. Oh, and I should probably show you what you've won as well, shouldn't I? Hang on a minute. Right, the prize. So I very generously, Suzanne at Green Lampkin Yarns donated a skein of her beautiful yarn. This is, oh, which way round was it? So this is the plums. Oh, okay, so this is Culver Tea Party. Now it's in its cellophane. I don't want to take it out of its cellophane because it's all lovely and beautifully wrapped, but hopefully you can see just how gorgeous those colours are in there. She also sent a skein of yarn for me, so I've chosen which colour way I wanted out of the two she sent, and I've taken my one out of its wrapper so I can show you just how gorgeously she dyes things. So I've chosen Keep Off the Dirigible Plums. It's on her sparkle sock base, and yeah, it's gorgeous. I chose this one because it had I just loved the blue content in it. I've made some socks with her gorgeous yarn before, so I know how beautifully this is going to work up. And this is her details. There we go, Green Lampkin Yarns. So you have won this skein of yarn and this dodgy bag. Now this is one of the bags that I made in the tutorial for the zipper bag, which is also linked underneath. I've still got to sew up the lining, it's that fresh. So you've won this and the yarn. Congratulations. If you just get in touch with me, I will get that parcelled up and sent to you. I've got a ton of stuff, including prizes from previous giveaways, because I got really nervous about going to the post office, but I've got everything ready to go. It's all parcelled up, it's all addressed, it's all in a bag. And one day this week, hopefully, I am going to just go out and go to the post office and get those things posted. Also, from the last couple of episodes, I did a nominations thing for people to get just a little bit of happy mail from me. I think I chose 6 people in the end. I have heard from most people. If you haven't heard back from me, I have got your messages if you've sent me it. I'm just working my way through it. So a couple of those letters are in that bag ready to go to the post office, and a couple I'm still working on. I did warn you I was slow. I haven't heard from Sarah Gampson, who nominated her friend Becky, and I haven't heard from Linda Shields, who nominated her friend near Durham. So if you could just drop me an email. If you've already messaged me and I haven't somehow got it, maybe just try again. My email is underneath this video and it was on the screen earlier. Just drop me an email and we'll arrange to get a letter and a pin sent out to those lovely people in your lives. Okay. Oh yes, so right, I said I was going to draw a winner from the Instagram hashtag as well. So we did this in a rather haphazard way. I went onto the hashtag and started scrolling up and down randomly until Dan shouted stop. I then stopped, and then I had like a grid of like 5 by 3. So Phoebe chose a line and she chose the 3rd line, and then Dan chose a number between 1 and 3, and that's how we picked it. It took quite a long while, let me tell you. And the person that won was Kim's True Colours. Kim, I follow you on Instagram. And she made a gorgeous bag with a fabric with like multicoloured dogs on, and a blue polka dot bottom. So Kim, if you could get in touch with me, what I was going to do was send you a pin. But if you've already got a pin, I might have another dodgy bag to inflict on you. So, so can you get in touch with me and let me know what you'd rather? Okay, moving on to the Hygge collection giveaway. So Lily of Nordic Stitches very, very kindly gave myself a copy of the Hygge collection. She's always been so generous. Lily and I are friends, and she's always so generous giving me her patterns, and I'm so grateful. And I've already made one of the patterns in this collection some time ago, but she's also updated that pattern, so there's 2 versions of it now. And that is the Hygge shawl. There is now the Hygge crescent shawl. Is that what it's called? The new version? Anyway, it's lovely, and I really do want to make it because I really like my original Hygge shawl. Anyway, she donated 6 patterns in the collection, and she donated that to one viewer of this podcast as a giveaway. So there were 74 entries in that. I closed it this morning, And again, I asked our friend to draw a random number. She picked out number 62, and that is Claire, Mrs. Robinson Knits. Claire, it's you. I was so happy to see your name. Claire, I follow her on Instagram, but she's also really active in the Dodgy Bag Mail as well. So it was really nice to see her name coming up. I know you haven't won in the Dodgy Bag Mail, but you've won a pattern collection from Lily, so that's great. And the prompt that I gave was to describe your favourite thing to do that's Hygge. And she said she knows it's not very seasonal at the moment, but a woolly make in front of a wood burner with coffee and cake and her family. So I thought that was really, really lovely. So congratulations. I will let Lily know and get her to send you a copy of that collection. Oh, God, I've been yabbering on. I said it was going to be a short episode. I get a feeling it's just going to be about 3.5 hours. We'll need to have an interval. Okay. The next section is general stuff and catch up, but I have just noticed that I have some incoming stuff. Now I haven't checked if it's okay to mention who it's from, so I won't. But a very lovely viewer of this podcast surprised us at the end of our last, when we decided to take a little break from vlogging. We got a gorgeous surprise through the post from lovely Ellie at Craft House Magic. Ellie has the happiest podcast. You only need to watch one episode and you are set up for the week, which is handy because she podcasts weekly. And she's so creative and so talented. And a lovely view of this podcast arranged for Ellie to send each of us our own handmade pouch. Wait for it. I'm going to show you mine first. Yellow's my favourite colour, in case anyone is new here and you don't know. But look at that. Look at the stitching on that, and look at the little charm. There's a little bee charm. It's so cute. Focus. It's just, oh. I haven't even decided yet what I'm going to use it for, because I've got too many ideas of what I can put in it. I use little pouches like this a lot. In fact, I think this might be the next thing I try to do a tutorial on, is making not one like this, but like a smaller pouch, because I use them for things like in my bedside drawer for keeping pens in, or other bits that I need, or like moisturiser and stuff. Anyway, I say that, I've got no time to do it, so in the future at some point. It's got her little Craft House Magic stamp in there. So that's my one. And then for Dan, he was so impressed with this. So impressed. He's got fire. Look at the flames. Oh, it's just so clever. And it's on both sides. And he's got a... Ooh. Is that focusing? It's a little cauldron. It's a little cauldron. It is a cauldron, isn't it? Yeah. And then on the inside, his is black. There we go. Manly, you see? Manly. And he already knows what he's going to use this for. He's going to keep his, because he runs, he's got wireless earphones, and they've got little things which he uses to charge them, and he's always losing them. This is where they're going to be. This is where his earphones are going for running. So you can keep that in the living room, and he knows exactly where everything is. And then Lilia's one is this one. So very grown up teenager fabric. She's very impressed with this. This one has got a purple lining. And the most exciting for Lilia, the charm is a golden snitch. Lilia is a huge reader, huge, and she loves anything connected to the books that she reads. So that's the first thing she spotted. As soon as I opened the parcel and gave her one, she was like, golden snitch, is that for me? So she was delighted. And then Phoebe has got this very gorgeous and sophisticated flower one. She was very pleased with this. She's our hippie child, is Phoebe. She's our little nature child. And she's got a flower on hers. Little flower. So pretty. And Phoebe's is white on the inside, like mine, with the Craft House Magic stamp. So to the person that sent that, thank you. That we were all so touched that you did that for us. Thank you so, so much for sending it. And thank you, Ellie, as well, for doing it and for being so talented. So now that I've shown them, I can return these to their owners because they were almost miffed that the moment they were given them, I took them away to keep them nice. Okay, what else? Oh, right. This is what I wanted to say. During May, when we were doing, I did the daily vlogs from the end of March until the end of May. I'll talk about the ongoing vlogs in a minute, but during the whole month of May, any revenue that we made in May from the vlogs or any other video, it's going to be split between two charities, which we announced throughout the month, which is the National Emergency Fund's Coronavirus Appeal and the Children's Society Coronavirus Appeal. And the money will go to charities who work really with people who are the most affected by the crisis. And for the National Emergency Fund, it gets distributed between various frontline charities. So we made, at the moment, it looks like $620, which is equivalent to £485, which for 1 month on YouTube is incredible. That is a lot of money. I will of course round that up. I won't know the exact amount until I get paid, and I won't get that until the end of June. So I will keep you posted. But if it is 485, I will of course round that up to 500, so I can just split it down the middle and do 250 to each charity, and hopefully be able to show you a little bit more as time goes on and that those donations are made. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who supported the vlogs and really got into it and were watching other videos throughout the month and really trying to get the charity total up. It was really good, and it felt really good to be able to do something during this sort of lockdown time and time of crisis across the world. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for that. But which leads me on to the future of the vlogs. Now, as I said, I've lost my my mojo, and I'm just enjoying not doing it. I think I didn't realise how many things I was putting off because I was editing or filming or planning or uploading. The break has just given me the opportunity to connect a bit more with life and family, and just, you know, just slow down a little bit, and obviously doing the drawing. But I did buy I bought a new iPad. I got some money for my birthday. I had my birthday back in April. And then I had some savings. I've been saving up as well. So I finally, this month, had saved up enough to buy a new iPad. I got myself an iPad Air. Very excited about it. It arrived yesterday. And I also got an Apple Pencil, which has caused much excitement throughout the whole household because they've been doing drawing on the iPad. Phoebe thinks that's just marvellous. On that, I am going to get a better editing software that works better with the film that I take, hopefully. I'm going to do a free trial first, and hopefully be able to edit a little bit easier on there. That was one of the reasons I wanted to, there were many reasons including schoolwork, but one of the reasons was to be able to do that. So I am certainly, when I make those kind of purchases, doing it thinking of, you know, vlogging, because vlogging is a hobby for me that I absolutely love doing, and I like to learn about new sort of techniques and things like that. So it's a very rambly way of saying that I will be doing vlogs again soon. I just need to, I picked up the camera this morning to try it, and again I just couldn't, I couldn't say anything. I didn't know what to say, so I think the break has just made me go, huh? I don't know what to do. So I need to get back into it. I don't seem to have a problem gabbling on now, do I? I'm just going on and on. Yeah, so I need to get my oomph back, basically. I do suffer a little bit from, I don't know if it's the right description, but like imposter syndrome, like I shouldn't be doing it, like people shouldn't really be. Does that make sense? Like I just think, oh, I just get up in the morning and think, oh, here we go, another day. Get up, get changed, do the Joe Wicks workout, mess about, do homeschool, do a bit of work, complain, maybe have a hot milk, maybe a glass of wine, go to bed. Why does anyone want to see that? So I do suffer a little bit from that. And I think I need to get over that a little bit as well. I don't know why, because you're all so lovely. You really are. Right. Oh, and also, I promised you I wanted to tell you about my dream. And you're just going to think, why are you telling us this? But I need to share it because I told Dan and he just looked at me like, what? It was such a vivid dream that I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Now, there were other parts to this dream, but the main story in this dream was I was in Ireland, in Southern Ireland, and it was a beautiful, beautiful place by the sea, really lovely house on top of a hill, like a huge mansion. I could see it so clearly. And then the person I was standing with looking at this mansion said, well, you know, that is owned by a famous Irish yarn dyer. And I said, oh, really? Wow, that's impressive. And the person I was standing with said, well, they've had to stop dyeing yarn. And I said, well, but why? And they said, because the giant moose head that's in the Great Hall is haunted, so they can no longer dye yarn. And at that point I looked at the house and I realised that through the gigantic windows of like the 3rd, 4th and 5th floor, I could see that the Great Hall kind of took up all these 3 floors and most of the back of the house. And I could see this giant moose head mounted on the wall that took up all 3 floors. It was massive, like a giant moose. And just at that moment, I could kind of tell that it was haunted, and then I woke up. And I turned to Dan, I was like, I had a really weird dream. There was this giant moose head that was haunted, and it was preventing this Irish yarn dyer from dyeing yarn anymore. And you can imagine the reaction, can't you? Probably the reaction that you're giving me now, which is like, what? Anyway, I'm taking it as maybe it's a sign that I should make the crocheted trophy moose head from the animal trophy heads to crochet. I'll show you. Here, animal heads by Vanessa Moonsie. Trophy heads to crochet. There's the moose. Is it a moose? Or is it a reindeer? How do you know the difference? I just need to check. I don't want to get it wrong. Is it? No. It's neither. It's a stag. Oh my goodness. I feel this story is not going well for me. It's a stag. It's not a moose. Someone does a moose, don't they? There is someone that has designed a moose, I'm sure. Anyway, it made me think of this book. This was obviously the book that was playing on my mind when I was having that dream. Although, goodness knows why. I haven't talked about it in ages. Anyway, there you go. There's my dream. I don't think I've got anything else to ramble on about. I'm pretty sure that this podcast is already twice the length it really needed to be. I'm sorry I've been away for so long. I hope you're all okay. And I hope you're all safe. And I hope you're all well. And I hope you're all coping with the lockdown. And yeah, hopefully I will get my mojo back for both knitting, crochet and vlogging very, very soon. I have been thinking about making a vlog for our family channel, which is This Little Wonderful Life. Yeah, I've been thinking about maybe doing a vlog for there because that's about our adventures as a family, and I was thinking of maybe doing like a week in the life of lockdown or something. Maybe that might ease me back into it, or maybe I should just pick up the camera and start yabbering because I seem to have unleashed something in doing this podcast. So I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to go and finish my tea, and I will see you again in a couple of weeks. And make sure you get in touch with me if you are a winner, and stay safe, stay well, happy knitting, happy crocheting, and I will see you soon. Bye.